Hi everybody. Gregor Arturo here. I am in my new place. I have a place! Can you believe that? It's like you guys have known me. I've been like living out of a backpack since I started this YouTube channel. So I have a place. Which is really weird to say. 5 years I haven't had my own place, so it feels good. Not even like my own I don't have any. Actually, Rossi's living with me at the moment. Or just moving in, so we have a place. But otherwise, I still haven't had my own place, regardless, in 5 years. So it feels really good, and part of it is to do with manifestation and really trying to manifest what I want in my reality and what I feel is best for our reality. And so, at heart, I'm a free spirit. I like to roam. I like to do my own thing and travel and wander and try to figure out who I am and what is my place in this conglomeration of humans on planet Earth. And I realize I need to stay rooted for some time being. There's a lot of things I have to do. There's a lot of foundation I have to lay. And interesting things, I'm talking about I, and I really want it to be we. And that's been the whole trouble, is manifesting the we. And for one of the reasons I had to do my own thing is I couldn't find people to vibe on the level I wanted to really vibe on. And there's a lot of times where it feels close, and then it just sort of slips away. And coming to Asheville, I shed some parts of me. Some things were confronted, thrown in my face. An interesting aspect in terms of time and space. One, I came to Asheville, August 17th, beginning of a new Mayan cycle. And Asheville, well, it puts your shit right in front of you and lets you see it and lets you analyze it, if you're willing. Otherwise, you're going to start running in circles. Don't know what the fuck is going on. Well, I confronted it. On top of it, it was the Mayan fifth night, which is the most chaotic of the 13 cycles. It's the upheaval. And so there was an upheaval in me within time and space here. Felt pretty perfect in terms of how things have been manifesting. And there was a catalyst. There was a major catalyst during this period, which I'm going to talk about. It's really important to me. And so this is some open processing out in the air, but hopefully this processing will be a catalyst for you, and vice versa. This is my whole idea of we, because we keep talking about I, and I need to do this, and I need to take away or move away from this reality and be a recluse and figure out what's going on in my head. But there is also this aspect of we. And so with my travels, I really vibed with Chris McCandless and the book Into the Wild by John Gregor, I think it was. He was a reporter. It was about Chris McCandless. And Chris McCandless, I ended up living Chris McCandless's perspective for a while and not completely meaning to. It was definitely ingrained in me in some subconscious way through his book and the movie, and then just it resonating with me. And I didn't try to live out his way, it just sort of happened. And feeling poverty, not at the level of poverty he felt, like burning money. I never burnt money. But throwing all this human societal bullshit out the door and out the window and just tossing it out and really getting to the heart of experience and what experience can bring in terms of awareness and realizations and understanding all the reflections of this reality and how it relates to you or me or the we self. However you want to call it. We can go pronouns all day long, but really it's just sort of the same thing. I really like the term we self. It's a good word. That sort of captivates all of it. And well, sort of tossing society away, a really beautiful thing is art, creation, co-creation, beauty, and what it does for the human soul and the human perspective. And I can do this ball and play with it in my room by myself and enjoy it. But right now, I have an audience. I have you watching. I get to share this art. I get to share this beauty. Because it's one thing for me to take this picture and look at this picture think of how much I was running from society. But in LA, of all places, there's just beauty around the corner. And what Chris McCandless discovered, or one of the last things he wrote before he died in that magic bus up in Alaska, one of his final realizations is that beauty is supposed to be shared. And the funny thing is, I understood this, but I let it slip out of my mind, and then sort of the realization, that was a big fundamental realization that I came to, the same path. Is through the isolation, they come back to the realization of the societal interaction and how art is supposed to be shared, creativity. And I can make this whole kingdom by myself, but at heart, it's supposed to be shared. And I could go into elaborate ways to describe all the different perspectives of that notion, but Chris McCandless said it too perfect. Beauty is supposed to be shared. And it's sharing it with the different perspectives of yourself, the we self, allowing the reflections to see the reflections, to see how beautiful the reflections can start to bounce off each other, to create different aspects of light, different aspects of the moment. And how this can be used as a catalyst, how the reflections around us can catalyze our reality, help us grow, help us ascend, help us discover who we truly are in this entire universe. So, catalyst for me was like the Wachowski brothers, The Matrix. You want to take the red pill or the blue pill? And V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta is great. I have a heart with against government tyranny and dystopian novels, and really, I got Fight Club in here. So people might have to say, you gotta deal with that. Yeah, maybe I have to deal with that with some sheer raw manifestation of that. And there's other little influences on my life that catalyze specific moments, specific artists and scientists and visionaries, and even presidents like George Washington, sometimes forgotten in our generation of what he truly did. But specifically, outside of history and books and art, there's pure human interaction, and what pure human interaction can do for a catalyst. It's powerful. It's really powerful. And the concept I'm not sure if I've talked about on my channel, talked about with friends, it's creating karmic oscillation. So what happens if you can catalyze one person, and then they catalyze back, and then back, and forth? You get this karmic oscillation going, and it will grow, and it'll grow. We can just feed each other, getting our minds in resonance, we can say. Our heartbeats in resonance, where we're breathing together. We're playing the same drum beat. To me, as the greatest power the human race has at its fingertips. The thing is, how do we really access that power? There is technology. There's all these other aspects of our masculine reality. But to me, this is our true power, getting our minds and our hearts in resonance with ourselves and then each other. Beautiful thing I feel about the catalyst lately is I feel like I'm really having this experience all the time. I'm feeling the heart just pour out and radiate all around me. Sort of been sober for 2 weeks now. No pot, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no caffeine. It's been great. Oh, and I'm a vegetarian. It's all bam, bam, bam. I was able to shed all of these energies, even these some sexual deviant energies and other negative things grabbing onto me. Just just gone. There's memories of them. I know how they feel, but they aren't attached to me anymore. And you're just pouring out this energy all the time. It's beautiful. This stuff, This has definitely replaced alcohol for me. Apple cider vinegar is definitely a form of prana. Great thing about this is really conductive stuff. It makes your blood more conductive. At the same time, your bioreaction makes it more basic, which really helps with disease. And like, man, in 30 seconds, you can start to feel the prana pulsing through your body. For those of you who are really energy sensitive, this stuff is as good as Ormus water, in my honest opinion. It's fucking off the chain. And so, it's the physical catalyst for me, that drink. And so it's understanding what vibrations do you want to allow into our being for us to grow. And so, I had a challenge last night where I went downtown with friends, and I think it was like 8 of us sitting at a table. I was the only one who wasn't drinking alcohol, not smoking cigarettes. And I was thinking there's a real challenge to be around people with alcohol, because alcohol, I've been aware for a while, lowers your vibration and really brings out the ego. But it can help you deal with problems with your ego at the same time. It's not saying alcohol is just a bad thing entirely. Every drug has its ups and downs. And I was worried about getting pulled into that lower vibration, because it's happened to me before. And I was confident. I'm going to be me. I'm going to just, yes! And guess what? Yes! I did. I was just felt this love projecting out of me the whole time, like all over. Oh, I couldn't stop smiling. I haven't been able to stop smiling at all. It's been wonderful. There's definitely been emotional dramas going on, and I process them, I deal with them, but I don't let them like eat away at me like they used to. And however, interesting thing is, when I was trying to engage some of my friends in conversation, we were all sitting around, it was actually the cigarettes and physically taking in. So there was the vibrations of people using the drugs. To me, that was my bigger concern. It was this metaphysical aspect. I was able to transcend that, but it was the physical aspect that I was not able to transcend. And the secondhand smoke, even though I did smoke like a cigarette probably 3 weeks ago, the secondhand smoke actually made me sick. It gave me a headache. It discombobulated me. And so it's interesting when the body starts to change its vibration, the other vibrations it's not conducive with, and how you shield yourself on the metaphysical and the physical level from that. And sometimes I've been putting metaphysical before the physical. Sometimes it's much harder to shield yourself from the physical than the metaphysical. You might be able to block someone's energetic attack, but not necessarily can block, someone's fist swinging at me at this moment. So there are some limitations between the physical and the metaphysical. And so, right now, I like this vibration. It feels good. I feel confident. I feel even more decisive and strong and powerful. But again, to me, this limiting factor, where I've had a hard time being on this planet, is humanity and connecting with humanity. And I feel like one of the main reasons that I engaged in drug use was to connect with humans. Because that's one of my biggest problems, is actually connecting with a human being. Gaia, she's beautiful. She's a part of me. We're all a part of her. And I can feel it all day long. And same with the universe and my environment. And it's a beautiful place. But there's some barrier between me and humans. I'm guessing it has to do with my heart chakra. It does have to do with my heart chakra. There's been moments where I've connected on a very deep level. The question is, why can it be hard at times? And easier for others. The question also is, are people truly having a heart connection with other humans? And what does it mean to have a heart connection? And when you can maintain that connection and open it up, which I've definitely experienced, how powerful that can truly get, and how you can start to harness that raw energy. So when I talk about power, I talk about the opposing end of power, because people usually say power is a downfall, and they associate it with all the bullshit going on in our world. But what about the power of creativity? The power of co-creation, and doing something truly positive with that power, making a reality that we want to make. And so, I've talked about how I've been feeling about what's transcending on this planet right now. And some people are out of the loop. They're still planning for the future, for the future, for the future. And the linear aspect of time instead of seeing the cyclical aspect. Because I mean, it's cold tonight right now. I might turn on the heat. It's me responding to my present environment and being aware of my future environment that's going to be getting colder, so I might have to focus more on that heat. That I am sure of. However, I am not sure of how cold this winter is going to be or the things that could happen this winter. But there's certain aspects of the cycle I am aware about, and I'm going to properly prepare and be aware about. And so one of those simple cycles is the equinox. I've talked about the equinox a few times in the dream I had. And it feels pretty powerful. It feels like there's going to be a lot of energy coming in on this world. And I think I'm going to be at Looking Rock. Nice big quartz monolith bubble. I think I'm going to be there on the equinox. Feels like a good place to have a download of energy. Maybe you'd like to join me. Maybe you'd like to be like, hey, you know what? I am ready to co-create. It was me saying it, but are you saying it? Are you acting upon it? I know there are. There's definitely light workers out there who are truly acting upon it. And god damn it, oh, that's awesome. It just makes me feel so happy to know that there's lots of us doing this. Question is, how many of us are actually really working together? And I feel like all the fear porn out there on the internet and denial is just the illusion of our reality. It's still a locomotive. It's still like pushing hard. And to really break free from that illusion, to take the power of your experience into your own hands. And so, I think I've said it before, but I need help. I want help. And really what I mean by help is I want to co-create. Many people might identify with the statement, I need help, more than I want to co-create with you. Creativity is an unbelievable power. The thing about the human race, you even think about RPGs and ever playing RPGs and all the different species, is there's positively aligned species and negatively aligned species. Humans are right in the middle. Bam! Right in the goddamn middle. Free will is so powerful at our fingertips. Toward this planet. It's a little out of tune. This planet, the people who inhabit it, been working on it for a while. Not the best at music. Really like dancing though, to music, as you know. Creativity. Creativity is the power of the human race. And we need to get back to the core of human ingenuity and explore our curiosities and put that back into a locomotive force and take the locomotive force out of the illusion of fear and denial and ego into what we want to manifest. And manifesting from the heart instead of the mind. And so I've been focused on this permaculture aspect and free energy. But I was sort of operating from the mind and going about and feeling what's about to take place. It's almost like survival mode. And I think I've talked about this. I made this statement online before, like my Facebook. But survival focuses on fear. Sustainability focuses on compassion. And really moving towards sustainability. And that at the heart of permaculture is me wanting to provide for the we self. And be a part of the we self. And really moving into the hive mind and understanding what the hive mind is. But at the same time, understanding your individuality, yourself, and the different layers of self. And so, there's a few things in my being I'm still in conflict with. One is the notion of the light workers that I've been trying to work with. And that there's all these resources now at my fingertips. Cash flow, tools, infrastructure, manifesting some really cool things. Like this beautiful helix, which I'll talk about in another video. And the main problem, though, the real challenge at the grit of it, is people are like, where do you go to school for? Physics and mathematics? I'm like, nah, couldn't handle it. I'm in school for classics. It's the human dynamic. That's why I love classics. Seeing the mythology of where we came from and the root of our Western society of philosophy and story and theater. So much is rooted in classics. But seeing the human dynamic. I started straight from classics. I was minoring in archaeology, really going into anthropology and seeing what the human dynamic really is. Free energy movement hasn't taken off because of scientific challenges, social challenges. This is a social dynamic we're dealing with. That is the power. That is the challenge. That is our strife. You know, Mark Engel talked about it right up in, beginning of the Communist Manifesto. Buckminster Fuller in the first chapter of Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth. It's the challenge of our society, is how we interact, how we communicate, how we relate to each other. And that same goes for light workers. When we're supposedly on this high up metaphysical level, and we can start to see other aspects of ourself in the reflections in our reality, we are still having trouble communicating. Maybe that's because we're missing this aspect. And how do we really connect to this aspect? So, I invite you to co-create with each other, the we self, with this entity specifically here, myself, and the other many light workers on this planet. Co-creation is key to the paradigm we're moving into, to being guides and support those who are in fear and denial, and bringing up to a level where we can see each other eye to eye, and we can have those heart connections, and we can move into a reality of co-creation, a reality of compassion, a reality of divine love. It's not that far away. It's right around the corner. But we need some level of faith in ourselves first, before we can have faith in each other. And some people look for a voice to tell them what's going on. But the thing is, this voice right here, this voice is you. I'm just a reflection of what you're trying to say to yourself right now. And that's what we all have to realize, is the reflections around us are just the TV screens to the pilot controlling all of this. And that you feed in some information, and the reflections feed in some information, in this dynamic, holistic system. So even playing out the notion of the difference between the I and the we self, and really understanding the core of that. So, I feel like I've said a lot. Feels good. One thing I've realized I need to start doing was I need to start listening. I need to listen to you. You need to tell me something to where maybe I just need to listen. Done a lot of talking. Done a shit ton of talking. And sharing my perspective. And hearing the other perspectives, the other reflections, has been helping my perspective and gaining a more holistic perspective of my own reality, our reality. and how it can function as a dynamic symbiotic organism. So, we're moving into a new age, moving the 12th tone this Friday on the equinox. And I think internally there's going to be some powerful transformation going on. And the interesting thing is that there is a delay in the third dimension of our manifestation due to time. Seems like on average this delay can be about 3 days with physical manifestations. 3 days after the equinox just happens to be September 26th. This mighty alignment with this mighty comet, or pieces of comets, as now it seems to be, as it's these objects are orbiting each other, or it's coming closer and closer. And the 3-day difference is interesting. The Mayan calendar ending on the 28th, and then All Hallows Eve on the 31st, which I had my own experience with in terms of channeled information, you could say, of what's going to happen on All Hallows Eve. Another example is the internal transformations that can take place on the winter solstice, and do take place on the winter solstice. And 3 days later, manifests with Christmas, and what takes place on Christmas. You start to notice these 3-day delays in our reality. You might start to pick up on something about the cycles. It's been happening a lot this summer, entwined with the Mayan calendar, and potentially other calendar systems, and the astrological cycles. As above, so below. See the internal, see the external. In essence, they're one and the same. This is just a reflection, geometrical reflection of what's in here. I love all of you. This is a beautiful planet. It's a beautiful world. This is a beautiful story that's taking place. And I'm proud, very joyful to be participating in it right now. So, for manifestation, for me to state right now, is I want to co-create with lightworkers. Abso-fucking-lutely. I might have stopped eating meat, might have stopped doing drugs. I think I'm going to still use the F word to, encompass that passion. A little bit of righteous anger. Never hurts anyone. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for being. Thank you for existing and choosing to play a part in this reality right now. It's epically good. And so until next time, namaste. It's been wonderful. Sweet dreams, my friends.